Good morning. Welcome to another morning with me. We talked a little bit about going into the planets and the birth charts and all that fun stuff. So today we're going to be looking at the moon, which is cool because last night's a new moon in Aries, so it was a really powerful new moon. So why not start the morning talking about the moon? But first, a little bit about my dreams. A little crazy. Like I had these like caterpillar worms. They were more like caterpillars, but in my skin, and I was like having to pull them out. Yeah, it was just as distressing in my dream. I wasn't freaking out though. It was like I was just squeezing. I'm just like, I knew I had to get them out, but I wasn't like panicking. So I'm like removing these things. And then the other image was I was really mad because Sophie's dad was there and I was trying to get him out, and there was like this baby doll. I mean, it's a dream, so it was weird. And I threw the baby doll out like I was really bad to it, like, abusive, but it was a baby doll. I think that's why it was a baby doll instead of a baby in my dream. But yeah, I was just really, really angry and I threw it outside. But in the dream, it was also Sophie's dad. So there was like emotions attached to it, even though it was a doll. Those are the two flashes that I'm like, remember this. This is important. So when I thought about it, I thought about that anger and I thought about removal. And then I was like, okay, well, the moon is, we all know that the moon is your reflection because it's literally the reflection of the light from the sun. We know it's about inner feelings and emotions. We know the moon is attached to the waves, but it's important to have the visuals. It's not like, oh, I know all this information, but when you think of the moon, see her, feel the waves, see that is a reflection, that the light is, you know what I mean? Like, don't just know it. You have to really feel it when you're looking at the moon. She's also attached to instinctual, habitual patterns, which is really interesting in this case because anger and any kind of unbalanced pattern that has come from your past karma, that you're trying to work on healing, is done through the moon. This is that pattern of, I do this all the time in this reincarnation too, right? It's a pattern. And the realization that the moon purifies this is what it's there for. And you can really only purify it because if it's attached to an emotion, for instance, right now for me, speaking from my own experience, anger, right? It's an emotion. It's attached to all of these patterns from, my dad being this short, red-headed lawyer with the temper of like a demon. I mean, I wrote so much poetry about him being a red-headed demon. But anyway, that anger is linked to his anger. And every time what he got angry about, now I'm realizing I get angry about that too. So I'm recognizing this pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can look to the moon to help you heal it. And also mirrors. Oh my God, I can't talk more about the mirrors. The moon is the mirror, but also when you see these kind of habitual patterns, it's in a family love oriented, well, it comes out the most there in relationships, right? In intimate, loving relationships in a family, because that's where you grew up. But so that's when your deepest, darkest demons show up, right? And it's that whole Kali story that I've mentioned. I know this is repetitive. It's repetitive. I tend to repeat myself a lot. I'm trying to talk faster for YouTube. All you YouTubers talk so fast, it's like I can't even keep up. Like, well, I can't even process the sentence you just said. But the repetition is important. Because there's a difference in knowledge that you're just trying to, how do I do this? Or just knowledge and fast-paced knowledge. Ancient wisdom moves slower. I mean, it's got to. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to get into the moon at the party, right? Who is the moon at the party? Well, I mean, that's obvious. She's the girl sitting over kind of outside of the crowd, either reading a book or writing in her journal or drawing. That was me at the party. Always. If I was even at a party, which usually I wasn't. But that's the moon. And it's funny because I always hated when somebody would come up and be like, oh, are you okay? Why aren't you dancing with everybody? And I'm like, dude, I'm fine. I'm like chilling. Why you got to ask me, why you have to assume that I'm sitting here depressed and slumped? You know what I mean? But anyway, you go engage with the moon at the party when you want to, okay, you've had enough dancing. You want to sit down and listen to some poetry and watch me paint. Slow stuff, like maybe not slow, but reflective. Reflection. Let's look into each other's eyes for a long time and see what's there. I like to scry in water. That, oh my God, that just came to me. That's interesting. I do like scrying in other people's eyes. I haven't done it with very many people because that's... Anyway, I mean... Okay. My intensity, it gets in the way a lot of times of short-term relationships are still an enigma to me, really, here recently. Anyway, do I want to get into my whole life? Do I want my whole life on YouTube? Like everything? No, I don't gotta share everything. But on Patreon, I have exclusive information that I will share if there's some kind of an exchange. And like I did so much work yesterday. It was Sunday. I wasn't even supposed to work, but in my head and like my ideas. And anyway, yeah, I know these are long. I'm trying to make them shorter, but please don't forget to like and subscribe and that thumbs up button and the Patreon account. I'm starting to figure out what kind of exclusive content I want to put in there. So, yeah. So now we get into the card spread, and I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit faster. The center card was 7 of Cups, which is like I mean, daydreaming and choices. And there again, I mean, it would make sense that it's a reflective, contemplative. You're seeing your cups are laid out before you. Your 7 cups are laid out before you, and they're all full. It's very much that moon in the corner of um, contemplation, mystery. Which one will I choose? What kind of dream do I want to paint now? That scrying in a pond, you know. In the north, what's in the thinking sphere was 4 of Wands. And the 4 of Wands, of course, 4 is my favorite number. I've mentioned that before. And wands is like, you know, or staves. It's the very sturdy, sometimes on fire, because it can be a little, I mean, I like the Harry Potter ones too, the really thin ones. And like in that case, but still, I think of 4 and you have a table, you have a stability, you have 4 grounds, right? So it's perfection in a way. It's stability. It's also rest. Like you can think of laying on the table. I mean, I generally don't rest when I lay on the table, but, you know, and then putting that card in that position to understand the moon. When you scry at the moon, think of the moon and think of resting your mind. Like, you can't have these tidal waves going on up here. It's got to be smooth waters so that it becomes the mirror, so that it becomes the glass. You can't see anything in a bunch of sea foam and waves. So in the south, there was 2 of Swords. And this card and me, we've been dancing for the last month together. This whole communication, and sometimes it can be dual, but sometimes that 2 is, sometimes it's balanced. Stellar Libra here. Sometimes it's balanced. You have to be grounded in a good communication with the moon or with your higher self. Same thing. One's the macrocosm and one's the microcosm. One is going out and one is going in. So that communication, you have to be grounded in that communication. What's in the east, what's coming up over the horizon was 6 of diamonds. I mean, pentacles. So that was cool, because I was like, 6 and earth, you know, you've got 6, you've got it's rarely a negative number until you put 3 of them together. But even then, it's a glorious number. And you've got earth, right? So this earthly power and gain and wealth, you know. And I really thought too that this body is earth, right? Like, if you're looking at the moon and you're thinking about the reflections and what it has to give and what kind of light it's going to shed on the subject, control over this body, compassionate control is what I like to call it. Balanced Mars control over this body is really powerful in healing. So that's what I thought. So west, at the end of the day, when the sun is setting, it was 10 of Swords. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a difficult card. At the end of the day, 10 of Swords. That's a lot of swords. And that's a lot of swords to sharpen. And generally, it can be a real heavy card, ruin, martyrdom. And then I was like, martyrdom. This word and I have also been floating around since Tulum. I'm a Scorpio rising, and I understand learning from the sting. And I understand the sacrifice of suffering for what you believe in spirituality and religiously. I mean, I'd do anything for the divine. I'm at that point. I mean, I trust the divine's not going to tell me to, climb a temple and cut somebody's head off for the sun. But I mean, I'm prepared to go into the battle and take orders from the divine. I know that communication's there. I know where to look, the planets, right? Like, and laying yourself down like that is that martyrdom of your soul, right? Like you're giving your body to the divine. You're sacrificing yourself. Take me, of yours. So yours. And it's a gift, like enlightenment and spiritual wisdom, ancient knowledge is a gift for us as humans. To receive a gift, I wrote Florence and the Machine. This is a gift. It comes with a price. I'm not going to sing the song on YouTube. Exclusive content, you can hear me sing. Maybe. But actually, that's a good idea. Some of the top tiers, I'll sing to you, But it does. It comes with a price. You do have to pay the toll. And it's back to the mirror. What you're putting in the mirror, you're receiving. There has to be two ways. It's not necessarily about the money, even though that I am now learning is just an energy exchange. I am changing my relationship with money, honey. It's gonna happen. So thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon account. I'm actually really excited about the Patreon and doing exclusive content and seeing and playing with different video ideas. And I'm about to have somebody come in, there was an email. I said, come on whenever you're ready. They are in Costa Rica, so here in the next couple, I have no idea when they're going to get here. But there might be a tattoo apprentice.
Yeah, and you can come see me. And you can see me dance on TikTok.
Sophie, if you want to say something, come over here and be in front of the camera.
TikTok.
Sophie, well, we need to learn how to do TikTok. Think tank and all that stuff. I know. We need to watch a YouTube video on how to do TikTok, but I've been really busy how to do Patreon and how to do YouTube and how to do videos. So we will get to TikTok as soon as we can.
I'm gonna go on TikTok right now.
I almost tipped over my coffee. Thank you so much.